curing cancer and like real shit. And I'd like to like just like start studying more about all the different types of fungi because it is like pretty amazing what mushrooms could do. I mean, all the different kinds.
It's wild. And even since we've just legalized it to where you can possess and grow them here in Colorado, which may have happened right as you got to town.
Yeah.
But now even when we're buying our mushrooms or we're making donations to get our mushrooms, there's strains of them, you know, like there's strains to the point where obviously someone that cares more than us could tell you as to which does what. But they've got this shit pretty dialed in. And imagine what's going to happen with a little bit more leeway here. We're going to find
it's going
out.
down.
Yeah.
They all work really well.
I keep on getting my afro's getting to that length where it just starts going into my teeth.
I don't know how you manage to do that.
I don't know how.
I got you.
I mean, as people that
because I dread my hair dreads because my fro goes like when I sleep on pillows I don't comb it or anything, so I'll just keep doing this.
No way.
Yeah, and then like I'll just have afros on my hair and I'm just doing this and what a great podcast.
Welcome to our podcast. Literally, so many people have asked us to have you on that we could ramble for an hour and a half about you having some dude's pubes in your mouth and people would still be enthralled to hear it. But at the same time, this isn't a bad one. Speaking of the afro, have you ever thought about going with something like cornrows or, you know, giving it an ode to Ty Lue?
Yeah. I was thinking Ty Lue or the turnover. Yeah.
Do
Totally
like
respect.
That. A little muscleman action where you.
If he wasn't a Clipper,
Is that where he's the head coach? Is he the head coach there now?
They overpaid him, but whatever. But Allen Iverson is dope.
He's in the weed game. There we go. We transitioned back. Shout out to Viola, Al Harrington, and Allen Iverson.
Yeah, they have a weed company.
It's called Viola. It's named after Al's mom. It's actually based out of here in Colorado. One of the first African-American owned cannabis companies in America. Yeah, it's really good. He has great wax.
Does he ever come out here?
He's here. I feel like more for like pop-up events or like
dude,
whenever
that'd be
they're
the
doing
perfect.
You got to get him on. You got to get him on yours too.
Stoned Appetit, dude. Allen Iverson's all over that.
We got to. He just signed on with him. We got to get the answer on the pod.
Got to get the answer on the pod.
Okay, so let's get this thing slightly back on track.
All right,
Chris asked a really good question about, I can't even remember, green room questions, and I had a follow-up hypothetical for a musician. If you could play with any fictional band from movies in history, who would you want to play with and why?
Fictional.
You know, like Stillwater from
That was my
Almost
first
Famous.
question. That was my first answer.
You know, what was it? Steel Dragon with Mark Wahlberg. And
that was great.
Yeah. I mean,
or that thing you do with
the Oneaters. Yeah.
Oneaters.
The Wonders. Yeah.
Those guys look like they got sad at the end.
They really did, I think.
That's such a weird time to be in the record business because you don't know what your contracts are saying. You have no money. You're just kind of going for just to get famous and don't know what it takes. I guess people are getting less fucked as they used to get back then. But
why do you think that is?
Because nowadays there's so much information out on the internet that we could like learn so much more. And like I remember reading contracts. I used to work for an entertainment lawyer when I was like 14, and I used to like.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I used to
continue on.
This dude in Calabasas. I grew up in like northern Los Angeles, and he used to represent like Counting Crows, Remy Zero, Tom Petty, Traveling Wilburys, and like basically that was when paper contracts were. And what I had to do is like after 20 years is destroy all the signatures and the social security numbers and stuff. So like people don't get scammed by 14-year-old kids who work in the mailroom at the office or whatever. So I would read all these contracts, and all these contracts that these record labels were given was so fucking weird because like they gave you a lot of money in advances, but you don't make any money on the back end. And that's how a lot of these guys like George Porter got broke, and like it's fucking sad. So it's like nowadays there is no money in the music industry right now selling records. So like they're just holding. They don't need the advance anymore,
So what is the key? Is it merch? Is it people coming out to the concerts?
Touring,
is it everything? Like
merch, and then if you want to play the live stream game, you got to get like 200, 300, 500 million views to get like I think like every million.
Spotify robbed y'all. Right?
Every million views is only $5,000.
Jesus, really?
Yeah. or 8. I don't fact check, but I know it's between 5,000 to 8,000.
Damn.
That sucks. So like you have to get into the 300 millions, 500 millions. The only people who can do that are like country stars, rap artists, pop music, you know?
So
You're
what
not
is the
seeing-
way for someone like kind of in the industry? Because jam bands, Fish can sell out, Madison Square Garden 13 nights in a row, but people still think Billy Joel's the king of New York. Like, what is the avenue for the up and coming jam band? Like,
you nailed it on the head. Merch, ticket sales. Yeah, that's it. If you're in the live game, that's what a lot of jam bands don't have singles, so you got to play 200 shows, 100 shows. I feel bad for the older cats who can't play 200 shows anymore. Like, I got to figure out a way to build a union, like a musician union. So I could
kind of like the SAG group that does it for the actors.
For
you
the
want to do it?
actors. I want to do that for our scene.
Do you have a lawyer in mind for that one?
I have a lawyer, but
that would be a heavy undertaking. You're like, there's 7
million
musicians.
It's a big document waiting to be written. Though.
Yeah, and it's just like something you have to just build awareness to, and then eventually it'll lead on to something. But I just feel really bad for all the older musicians who can't, in our scene, who can't tour as much, and all of a sudden, their savings gets less and less because you can't tour so much. You're getting unhealthy, you're getting older and don't want to sit in a van anymore, and you don't have any mailbox money.
Yeah.
All you have is just live performance money. It's kind of scary.
So do you think, just a different question, but do you think like the pandemic has like highlighted certain things in the music business that should change? And like, do you see those things changing, or
yeah, I mean,
what's
like,
happened?
Yeah, like one thing, unemployment. Like how hard it is for a musician to get unemployment. I couldn't get unemployment. I had to work 4 jobs and whatnot because you're considered an independent contractor as a musician, so you can't really get unemployment unless your company, which I fucked up. That was what I fucked up on was I didn't. I was 1099 all my band, not putting them on salary. So they couldn't really get into, and we couldn't get the PPP loan. I know a lot of bands got fucked on that too. So we had to work through the pandemic on different ways just to keep our fucking, our overhead of being in a band doesn't stop. Your van payments and your band insurance and like everything else. So it's like, it was a fucking struggle to keep this band going for all year. So that's why I had to do podcasts and like you just have to diversify your thing.
Yeah.
If you're especially like we relied on being on the road to make money, and all of a sudden someone cuts that cord, or someone like says, "Oh, only half capacity shows," or blah, whatever it is, and the bands can't make any money anymore. It's like now you're just living on the road to survive that 2 months. So that means you're on the road all year and you have no health insurance, and these guys are all just
That's fucking rough.
fucked up. Yeah, dude.
Maybe you should create like Andy Frasco LLC.
Yeah. Trying to save the day, It's like I'm just trying to make people aware of like these people that you cherish, and like music is so important to people. How are we going to keep them alive? Because without art, I mean, you saw it during the pandemic when you couldn't go to a live show, you couldn't do entertainment, you couldn't go to your favorite restaurant, that how much sadder we got.
Oh, it fucking sucked.
It was I mean, I realized that, and I've said this before, but when all of my hobbies were going out and drinking with friends, or going to concerts, or just going to eat and work at the same time, those were my 3 hobbies.
Yeah,
I'm not a trail runner.
Yeah.
I mean, that was
like I don't have a lot of outdoor.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah,
me either.
So they clipped me really, and I was like, "Fuck! I either need to pick up a new hobby." I tried rollerblading. I tried PlayStation.
Yeah.
I picked up golf and tore my Achilles.
You tore your Achilles during the pandemic?
Playing golf.
I broke my arm right
Stay at the
before
restaurant. Stay at the
right.
bar.
That's why it's
you
safe.
broke your arm?
right before the pandemic.
Oh my god.
It's safer inside at a bar.
Yeah, my friends were forcing me to go outside because I was just working. I was like, I went into panic mode. Like I realized, like after 2 weeks, like the first 2 weeks of the pandemic's awesome for these musicians like us. Like we'd never had a break before. We just had to go all the time. So we like overslept, and all of a sudden, oh shit, yeah, this is reality. I have to figure this out. I just went straight into fucking work mode. And I had to, they prime myself out. Like I just moved to Denver. I bought my house in February, and we had the pandemic in March. So I didn't know anybody really. I'm like a new dude in this house trying to figure out a way to build community. But Denver was kind of open. You know, the restaurants were weren't never closed.
I don't know if we could do inside dining. I think the outdoor dining came back around June or July.
Oh, so they were closed.
Yeah. So there was about 3 months there where there was no action except for takeout, and it was a precarious time. You know, we did a couple interviews, but our sponsor of the podcast was Live Nation at that time.
Oh, wow.
And so they were like, well, there's nothing for us to promote, so we're not paying you. And then we were like, well, that sucks. And then because we were like, oh, well, it's like a month. And so we were kind of in that boat of, well, I guess we have a month to do. And then it just kept fucking going. It just sucked, you know? And so, fuck. Hopefully we don't have to go back into it. Get vaccinated.
Yeah, do you think we'll get back in? Well,
I don't think we're going to go back into the shutdown. I think that with the ability to vaccinate kids under 12, which is soon to be coming, is going to help kind of curve the late onset cases of just then bonkers people that don't want to get vaccinated. But at the same time, I would love it if everybody would do it. But I don't think we have the ability to go back down. We don't have the money as a country to go back down. So we will not shut back down.
He thinks otherwise.
No, I hope not. I hope this winter time's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. If everybody just did their fucking job.
It's just so crazy. I'm on tour through this shit.
Yeah.
And how every state is different. And everyone is pushing you differently. And you're hearing the echo chamber of the social media who's not even at the shows, who are just assuming that it's just a fucking COVID cesspool at the shows, when it's like, dude, it's been so hard to tour through this thing.
I mean,
It's mind fuck.
Theo Von was saying it the other day. He canceled a show because they were requiring the vaccine mandate, or the vaccine or a proof of vaccination or whatever. He was like, I'm not going to make people come out and show them that, but at the same time, you can understand like you'd want to at least have the precaution of you don't have to have the vaccine, but show that you're not positive for it, because I mean you're risking your livelihood to be out there in a concert hall.
Yeah, and like
only 500 people. Like,
well, they don't realize like right
precaution.
when you get tested positive, you're staying in that town for 10 days. You could be in fucking any bullshit town. Once you test positive, you're stuck in this hotel for 10 days. You can't travel anywhere. And you have to cancel 2 weeks of tour and stay in this town. God forbid you're in like Poughkeepsie or something.
I was about to throw out a real dig at some small town in Mississippi. I'm glad you threw one first.
Or like, say like you're in a band and you're stuck in San Francisco or New York City.
Oh, and that room turns to $300 a night for 10 days. You're like, I don't have $3,000, good sir.
Yeah.
They're like, well, you're sleeping
times 4, because everyone needs their own. You can't just have 10 dudes in a COVID. But dude,
just everyone's in a sauna together.
We've all got it.
Yeah.
We're good.
But yeah, that is a real concern.
It's dude, and it's like you're already not making enough money as it is right now because of the low ticket sales. Like no one's buying concert tickets as much. Like I'm thankful my fans, I built a fan base throughout the quarantine where I help people out during it, and they remember me, and like that's the first thing they want to see is me in person. Like some of the bands who weren't fortunate enough to like have an internet presence, and like this is their first time coming back in 2 years and realizing their ticket sales couldn't grow, and you're relying on your fans who are, there's 7 shows that weekend, and you're just on the bottom of that. You got Humphreys, Billy Strings, Frasco, Magic Beans all playing Friday night in Chicago, and then your band that hasn't. It just everyone's stepping on each other's toes right now because we have to, because it's like basically survival mode. It's crazy. It's nuts right now.
So if I understand this correctly, the music business is a stable job. Nobody tries to fuck you over.
And Andy Frasco is coming to Denver next weekend. You want to support local musicians, people that make you smile, people that bring music to your lives. You can hear them on the radio. Buy tickets, AXS.com. Andy Frasco, &TheUN. Next Saturday, Ogden Theater, Colfax. We'll have a fucking rager going. I'll have multiple pins on me. Thanks to our friends over at Callie's